Hey elementary leaders, it's me. I just want to come on and make a quick video just to encourage and to remind you of some things. I just appreciate you guys serving in the summer. I appreciate you serving all the time, but just being here on days that you could be sleeping in or enjoying some vacation time, I really appreciate that you're here serving our kids. Now, I know that our kids don't always make it super easy to serve, right? Especially in the summer. And I know we know this, we've talked about it in team time, but summer is so different for our kids. They're not in a routine, they're not at school, they're not in anything that feels comfortable and that they know what comes next. Especially our younger kids, but even our older kids, they really need a sense of routine, a sense of boundaries, a sense of rhythm. And sometimes in summer, it's so much fun that they don't have that. And instead of saying, hey, golly, I really need some boundaries so I can feel safe and secure, they're going to act out. They're going to be silly. They're probably eating random junk for breakfast. My kids are like, it's summer, it's fun, everything's fun. But it makes Sunday mornings kind of more difficult than they need to be. And I'm just going to level with you. This is going to be what we see from now until about mid-September. Because school's going to start late August, that's going to be really thrown and really different for them, so they might kind of act out here. And by the time we get to mid-September, they've been in their routine long enough that things are going to start to settle down. But I don't want you just to hear me say, yep, it's hard. Suck it up, buttercup. That's not it. In the hard, we're still going to work hard to make this place safe for our kids and fun for our kids. But I want to go back to that safety part. Because if you have 12 kids in your group and one of them is just really having a hard time, and by that I mean they're laying down, they're rolling around, you've asked them to sit up, you've asked them to listen, you've asked them to do whatever, they're not listening, they are playing with a toy when they shouldn't be, they're distracting other kids, you've actually allowed that child to make that group unsafe. Now, I didn't mean to put that on you. That child is making things unsafe and not a good learning environment. But by that kid still being in there without a consequence, now it's kind of something we've enabled. And then the kid next to them is going to do the same thing. And the group next to them is going to do the same thing. Before you know it, half your kids, you've lost them. They're not listening to the good news of Jesus. They're not even able to sit up and focus on a conversation or even have fun. Even our fun games and stuff are maybe even getting out of hand because a couple kids are having a hard time reining it in. And so I know it sounds mean, and I know we want to be fun, and we want kids to feel like they belong here. That is all true. But we also have to be safe. That's one of our first things for a reason, because safety has to come first. And so I want to just empower you that in those moments where you're having a hard time with a kid who is just not listening, we have a strike policy. We have a 3-strike policy. You know it. You say it every single week, but I'm going to remind you that we have to follow up with it. Because if we just say every week, strike 1, strike 2, another strike 2, another strike 2, guess what? They're not going to believe you because you didn't follow up with that. And I know it sounds yucky and we don't want that. But sometimes we might need to send a kiddo out. And that's okay. And when we do, it's dripping with grace. It's, listen, today wasn't your day. You had a hard time being safe and making good choices today, so I need to call your grown-up. But next week, I want you to know that you can come back. And then you let me talk to the grown-ups in the hallway. I can help with that. I can make sure that they know that they're always welcome back. Next week is always a clean slate. And when they walk in that next week, and they will, you celebrate that they're here and you say, I'm so glad to see you. But this week, they can't be in here for whatever reason. So I just want to remind you guys that it is not mean to ask a kid to leave. Strike out may seem like an aggressive way to say it. If you would like a different way to say it, you may call it, 3 chances. But the point still needs to remain. The first one is a warning. The second one, you need to remove that child from the group and go sit somewhere. This is not the corner of shame. This is just, hey, you're having a hard time controlling your body. I'm going to need to ask you to go sit on the wall somewhere. That quiet spot over there with the hexagons and all that, that's a great spot for them to go calm down. One kid and one spot. Don't send a whole group there. And you can rejoin the group when you're ready. Or you can rejoin the group in 2 minutes. We have those sand timers you can use too. So you can give them, some kids are going to be ready when their body's calm. Some kids might want to be over there the whole time and not rejoin. So those kids you want to give a sand timer to. When this is up, you need to come back here and we'll try again. If you cannot listen to me again, I will have to call your grown-up. And that's what we say, and then that's what we do. And you know that you call me or the desk by using the walkie and just saying, hey, we have a kid who needs their parent. You don't have to say the number, you don't have to give details over the walkie, just say, hey, front desk, we need to call a parent. That we'll come in, we'll ask the number, we'll call the parent, we'll handle that side of it, okay? But I want to tell a story. We're going to end on a story here, okay? So years and years ago, we were first opening, and there was a kiddo that came. Some of you might even know him. We'll call him M. He came all the time, and he struggled. He had a lot of stuff going on in his home life. It wasn't ideal. There were a lot of things that were tricky, and he came in with all of his stuff, and he was hard. He was just hard. Can we just be honest? He was a hard kid, but we still loved him with the love that God gives us, because that's what we're called to do. But in loving him, we had to send him out several times because he wasn't safe in here. We had a behavior plan. We had all these things. And some days he can handle it. Some days M did great. A lot of times M didn't, and we sent him out. And I'd always talk to his mom, and we'd always have a conversation. It was always, okay, you're welcome back next week, and we're going to try again next week. And next week he'd come back. All right, how are we going to do this week? He goes, He came in, we tried it again. Sometimes he went back out, but we tried every single week. He was always welcome here. Now, fast forward, I don't know how many years. He's like a middle, maybe even high schooler now. He comes time to time, and he always gives the most giant hugs. He seeks out his leaders. He seeks out Nick, my husband, to go talk to him because Nick was his leader. And he loves us. In fact, he even wants to serve. There are some things he has to do before he can get there. But he loves this ministry so much. And it's not because we let him do whatever he wanted to. It's because we had really firm boundaries with him. Because guess what? Kids crave boundaries, right? They need it. They won't tell you they need it. They won't tell you they want it, but they do. And so we, as the safe people in their life, get to say, these are the boundaries, these are the consequences. So I'm not making this video as a shame on you video, or I want you to strike out kids video. I just want to make sure that you know that you are empowered to make those decisions for this room when it needs to happen. And I know it feels yucky. I know we don't like to do it, but sometimes it's really necessary. And if I'm not in the room with you, which I'm not because I'm everywhere else, I need you guys to know that you can make those decisions. And I will back you up all the time. I will always have your back, all right? So stay current with me. Let me know if any of this makes you feel feelings you want to talk about, or you disagree with any of it. Push back on it. Just be open and current with me, because I want this room to be fun. I want this to be fun for our kids and for you. I don't want you to leave exhausted and worn out every single week, okay? I want this to fill you. And so to do so, we need to work together as a whole team, all of Kids Crossing, all doing the same thing so it's consistent, so that we can help love our kids best, okay? I love you guys. I'm here for you. Please reach out if and when you need anything.